So, what if I told you there's a literal blueprint for success? A set of principles that the world's most accomplished people have been using for decades. And it's not about luck or who you know, it's about a specific way of thinking, a specific way of acting that anyone can learn. In this explainer, we're going to decode that very blueprint.
Okay, so let's just jump right into the core idea. Success, whether it's money or something else, isn't an accident. It's not a lottery ticket. It's the result of a deliberate mental process. This whole idea that wealth is really just a side effect of your mindset, your clarity, and your grit, that's the foundation for everything we're about to talk about. So where does a journey like this even begin? Well, it's not with a business plan. It's not with investments. It starts inside your own head. The entire blueprint is built on first programming your internal world for the success you want to see on the outside. And this slide right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. See, we all wish for things, right? Man, I'd like more money. But a wish is passive, it's just floating out there. The starting point of real achievement is what Napoleon Hill called a burning desire. It's the difference between that vague thought and a goal so clear you can taste it, like I will have $1 million by January 1st, 2028. A wish hopes, a desire demands a plan. Okay, so how do you actually forge that burning desire? Well, this slide gives us the recipe. It's a 5-step process for making your goal totally real and completely unavoidable. You decide on the exact amount, you figure out what you're willing to give for it, nothing is free, you set a hard deadline, you create a plan, even if it's not perfect, and then, and this is key, you burn that statement into your brain by reading it out loud twice a day. You're literally programming your mind for success. All right, once you've got that specific desire locked in, the next ingredient is faith. Now hold on, we're not talking about a religious concept here. This is about an absolute, unshakable belief in yourself and your ability to pull this off. It's the conviction, the inner certainty that turns a mental blueprint into a physical reality. It's the head chemist of the mind. And here's the thing, building that kind of faith isn't magic. It's a process, and that process is called auto-suggestion. Just think of your subconscious mind like a garden. You can either let the weeds of fear and doubt grow wild, or you can intentionally plant seeds of confidence and success. Auto-suggestion is just you consciously choosing what you plant. You tell your mind what you want it to believe over and over until it does. So, with a powerful mindset of desire and faith, you've laid the foundation. But a foundation is pretty useless without a building on top of it, right? That's where the action plan comes in. Let's look at how you actually turn your inner world into outer results. Your action plan really boils down to these 3 things. First, specialized knowledge. This isn't about being a trivia champion, it's about knowing how to apply what you know to solve a real problem someone will pay you for. Then, you need an organized plan, knowing full well that your first plan might fail and you'll have to adjust. And finally, the big one, persistence. The sheer grit to keep going when things inevitably get tough. You know, a great plan is useless if you can't act on it, which brings us to a huge separator, decision. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. Successful people make decisions quickly and with confidence, and then they're slow to change them. Unsuccessful people, they take forever to decide, if they ever do, and then they change their minds at the first sign of trouble. This leads us to a really important question. I mean, we often think of indecision as just waiting, treading water, but its impact is so much more damaging than that. Why is it such a success killer? And here's why. Indecision isn't a pause button, it's a self-destruct button. It totally kills your momentum. It creates this vacuum that doubt and fear just rush into. And maybe worst of all, it outsources your life's direction to what other people think. Every moment you spend undecided, you're sending a message to your own subconscious that you don't trust yourself. Okay, so you have the mindset, you have the action plan. Now, how do you accelerate your progress? How do you put this whole thing into overdrive? This is where we bring in the force multipliers, concepts that basically amplify your efforts and let you tap into powers way beyond your own individual abilities. The most powerful force multiplier of them all is something called the mastermind. And no, this isn't just a fancy word for teamwork. It's a true synergistic alliance. It's when 2 or more people align perfectly, in total harmony, toward one specific goal. And when they do, they create a third, invisible mind that is way more powerful than the sum of its parts.
And this says it all, doesn't it? The output of a true mastermind group isn't just additive, it's exponential. The combined energy, the shared knowledge, the creativity, it generates insights and power that no single person in that group could have ever come up with on their own. It's like unlocking a new level of thinking.
But this blueprint doesn't just stop with outside help. It also shows you how to tap into your own inner power. This gets into some really cool stuff, like learning how to channel your core energies into creativity instead of other distractions, and developing what Hill called your sixth sense. You know, that gut feeling, that intuition that often knows the right answer before your logical brain does.
But here's the thing. Even with the perfect plan, the perfect mindset, and powerful allies, there is one final massive obstacle that derails almost everybody. And this obstacle, it isn't out there somewhere. It's the enemy within. And here they are. These are the 6 ghosts that haunt our minds and absolutely sabotage our dreams. The fear of poverty, the fear of what other people will think, the fear of getting sick, the fear of losing someone you love, the fear of getting old, and the fear of death. Almost all of us are being held back by at least one of these, and we don't even realize it. The whole game is to recognize which ghost is holding you back and then consciously go to war with it.
And this brings us to the hidden lesson. The real punchline behind this entire philosophy. The money, the fame, the achievement, that stuff is just the side effect. The true prize is the person you have to become to get there. It's the self-mastery, the grit, the resilience, and the unwavering confidence you build by finally taking control of your own mind. That's the real treasure. So as we wrap this up, it all comes down to one simple but really profound question. Your mind can be your greatest asset, or it can be your greatest liability. After seeing this blueprint, it's worth asking yourself honestly, is your mind actively working to build the life you want, or is it working against you? Because the choice ultimately is entirely yours.